Okay, so whatever it is, we will start. Okay, this conference is recorded, so the recording will be published in YouTube. I will provide you, Dr. Nur Hidayah, also the link so that you can access the video in the YouTube. Okay. So normally before we start, let's look at the program. So I do a little opening, and then after that you can start doing your presentation. Since we have all the time by ourselves, it's not limited to 10 to 15 minutes. Probably if we find the subject interesting, we can talk more than 15 minutes. No problem with that.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And since probably it's only you today, so we expect this conference to finish earlier, much earlier. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, let me start with the opening session. I have few slides to share with you. I think I've already shared this with Dr. Nur Hidayah also. These are the list of the people.
Okay.
Confirm today is you and also Dr. Nur Zafifa. Even Dr. Nur Zafifa also not signed in yet. The rest did not manage to do it. Okay. So if you look at the institution here, the one is from Doha, the other one is, I think the other one is Palestine. Yeah, the rest are all in Malaysia. Okay. Okay. So what next after this conference? After you presented your paper, so the next thing that we need to do is that you will be getting is the conference certificate. Okay, we will generate the conference certificate. And then I just mentioned to you that this conference is recorded, so the video will be published in YouTube, and then we will provide the URL to you, to the presenters actually.
Okay.
And then the next thing is the full paper that was submitted to the conference. The full paper has gone under review. I think the paper has been accepted, if I'm not mistaken. And then all papers submitted to us accepted will be published in the proceeding. Conference proceeding. Okay. The same paper also will be published in our referee journal. If you look from our website, we we have 7 referee journals covering most areas of research discipline like social science, humanities, engineering, business, economy, accounting, and education and pedagogy, and few others. Okay, so most likely your paper will fit into any one of those 7 journals. Yeah.
That's good.
So this certificate will be in the form of PDF, which we will generate and email to you, and also all the co-authors of the paper. All co-authors will also receive the e-certificate, which we will email to you. In this case, the contact point is Dr. Nur Hidayah, so I will email that to Dr. Nur Hidayah. Okay, and this e-certificate is applicable to those who register as face-to-face, if we have one, e-conference like this one, or pre-recorded video presentation. We see within a week, that's our commitment, but normally like today we don't have many participants, probably we can provide that by tomorrow. And then like I said, the video publication the video of this conference will be published in YouTube, and then publication conference proceeding book and journal. So normally it's within a month and 3 months after today. But depending on the situation, if I receive all papers in good order, faster, I will publish the conference proceeding faster. Okay, because some authors also take time, especially from authors from overseas, from China, Cambodia, Vietnam. The formatting, the language is not that to our expectation, but content-wise is good. They have ideas. They have new ideas contributing to the body of knowledge, but then the grammar, the structure, and so on, normally they are very, very weak at that, and we have to fix that so that we can actually incorporate that in our proceeding. Otherwise, caca marba nanti.
So you'll be sending it to the reviewer first for the paper or
Yeah, normally all paper one we receive from the author or participant will assign to the reviewers. We have many reviewers, also part-timers like me. Our friend who graduated from UM last time, those are my reviewers.
So you already created a network of reviewers when you went to UM.
Yeah, and they are everywhere. They are in the University of Malaysia Pahang, in University KL, and then in DRB Highcom University in Pekan Pahang, also in University of Tun Hussein On, and few other places everywhere. Okay, so that is what next. So the next one is these are the sample of our certificate.
Okay.
Certificate may look like this. This is the name of the conference, the name of the author or co-authors. If you are as presenter, we'll state here as presenters, and this is the name of the conference, the date, my signature, and also our our print, our company print. If the paper is people who register as a video presentation, the video will be published in YouTube, may look something like this. Okay. Okay. So they submit the video. I will normally take the first page of the video and then cut as the main page of the YouTube. So there's a name of the conference, the title, and then the title of the paper, the author, and also co-authors. Typically like that. All right. Okay. And then publication, we're talking about conference proceeding, referee journal. I also have published in Corpus, but very limited right now. Okay. So proceeding, our commitment within 1 month, but like I said, proceeding maybe you can be within a week or much earlier also. If we receive the paper in place faster, I will provide the proceeding faster. Proceeding has the ISBN number provided by the National Library. Okay. Okay, and then the referee journal indexed by MCC, also Google Scholar, and we have also the ISN number as assigned to it. Okay, the 7 referee journal I mentioned just now, and then the Corpus we also have published. So upon review of all papers submitted to us in this conference, our reviewers normally will select few. We don't have any hard and fast rule about few means how many actually, with the 1, 2, 3, 5, depending. If we find that any paper is has the merit of high index publication, then we will select those papers and we will inform the author separately. We will email the author, your paper we think is suitable for publication in high index journal. In this case, we are focusing on Scopus only, not ISI, not ERA for now, because we do not have any more working relationship with any of those editors in ISI or ERA right now. Still do have with Scopus. So if we have, then we will inform the author whether they want to publish in Scopus or not, because publishing your paper in Scopus will carry additional costs, publication costs, separate publication costs. And Scopus after COVID-19, I think starting from middle of last year, suddenly they find that the cost of publication in Scopus is going up. I would say is going up tremendously.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just like any business, if you find now the cost of food that we take now is more expensive than it was before.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The pandemic, yeah. Whatever it is. So same with Scopus. Scopus is also getting more costly. If we are talking about Q1, quartile 1, it will probably between 1,000 to 1,500, depending on the type of the journal, whether it is engineering or social science or management. Okay. Even Q4, we are talking about $600 US, $700 US. Q4.
So we have to apply for more research grant to cover for the fees.
So I don't know why, but I think I don't know why actually. Why is the price is going up that much? I mean, if it's 10%, I can accept that. But you know, you are increasing like 30-40%. In some cases, I think it's quite ridiculous. But that's what it is now. So I've always tell upfront to authors that those who want to publish in Scopus, the price is expensive. And then another concern is not only concern, but this is the concern of everyone who publish their paper in Scopus. Because today we know this journal is indexed in Scopus. 3 months or 6 months or 1 year down the road, it is no longer indexed in Scopus.
Really?
Yeah, that happened many times. Because because the publisher of those journals have to maintain certain degree of standard and meeting the requirement of Scopus publication, of Scopus indexing. You know, they have to maintain the number of reviewers, and then the localities of the reviewer. The reviewers must be international. You cannot have reviewers or your reviewers from the US or all your reviewers from Malaysia, or like that. You have to have, okay, if you have 10 reviewers, you have to have 2 from the US, maybe another 2 from Australia, 2 from Malaysia, from Sri Lanka, and then 1 from Nigeria, like that. Okay, you have to maintain that. Okay. Secondly, you must publish paper constantly. If you want to publish, let's say if your journal publish, every month, January you publish 1 issue, February another issue, and so on. So 1 year you publish 12 issues. You have to publish 12 issues. You cannot skip that. And then the quality of the papers, which is very subjective, but they give us also the guideline actually to maintain those quality. So some publishers are not able to keep up with this requirement. And Scopus audit the publisher minimum once a year, minimum. And they can audit also twice. If they found that this publisher is under the radar, they probably will audit more time, And that's the reason why some publishers, some journal, we find that in Scopus index today, 3 months down the road is no longer there in the list. That's been taken out from the Scopus index. So those are the risks. But we all know in this industry, those in the academic area, we all know when we publish in Scopus, we all know that the risk of Scopus index may no longer be there.
Yes, basically we are aware of that, and actually it's very hard to be published in Scopus.
And it is hard actually. Yeah, the requirement is also very high. So the paper must also be written in a manner according to their structure, their format, and then the genuinity, basically the new ideas contributing to the body of knowledge, stuff like that. So we have to maintain all those kind of requirement set forth by Scopus or any other high level or high index journal are actually expecting that, from the authors. Okay, so I have, but limited. Right now, I have only 2 journals that I can help to publish in Scopus. Even that, sometimes even the paper that we think it is good for Scopus publication, when we submit the paper to the publisher, 2 months, 3 months down the road, they say that we decline this submission, So that also can happen. But more often than not, when we submit, it is accepted for the publication in Scopus. Okay. So next, I want to talk a little bit about the publication in conference proceeding book. Like I mentioned, we have the ISBN number associated to it, and then all accepted papers will be published in the proceeding. And it is not online. The proceeding is not online. It is in PDF format. Okay. So the reason is, do you know the reason why?
Not really sure.
Okay, why we don't put it online is because our journals are all online.
Okay.
Because more often than not, the same paper is published in our journal. publish in the proceeding and publish also in journal without any amendment. Many authors actually choose not to amend the paper. Okay. Some do. Some change the title a little bit, you know, some change the content, some add the references and so on. But I would say 70% don't have any changes, okay, to the paper that they submit and publish in the proceeding. So it's the same paper. If we put the conference proceeding online, you will have 100% similarity in the issue. And publish the paper in the journal because both are online.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that's the reason why the proceeding is in the PDF format. So we will not have issue. We will not have like plagiarism issue, quote unquote. Okay, our journal are online. That's the reason. Okay, the next one is we are talking about the proceeding, and then in reference journal. Our reference journal are indexed with MCC, and then we have ISSN number and cover various discipline like I mentioned just now. Okay, before we publish your paper in the journal normally or any papers for that matter, we normally we'll email to the author and give them the opportunity if they want to revise the paper further before we publish in the journal. So we give them a time of 1 week time or 2 weeks time, depending on the time of the conference. Because the reason is our journals publish 4 times a year. So we publish in March, June, September, and December. So like this conference today, deadline is on the 15th. So we have a lot of time before we publish in March actually. So authors have a time actually, a lot of time to, if they want to revise their paper further. But for conferences that we have in February, for instance, end of February, so authors don't have much time actually to revise their paper because publication will be in March. Okay. Are you there?
Yeah, Doctor.
Okay, all right. So these are the list of the journal that is currently under our purview. 7 journals. So education and pedagogy, business of economy, accounting, social science, technology, information system, engineering, advanced, and also even another journal for social science because we receive many papers, many social science papers actually. So we have 2 journal for social science papers actually. Okay. And then publication, like I mentioned in Corpus just now, we know this Corpus right now. 3 things to remember: they carry a separate cost, publication fee. Second is when we notify the author that the paper is selected for Corpus, does not necessarily mean 100% the paper will be accepted by Corpus publisher. I'm not saying 100%, but most of the time it is accepted, but there are also occasions where the paper is also turned down by Corpus, declined, right? The third one, like I mentioned to you, Corpus journal that is indexed in Corpus, don't expect that to be permanently indexed in Corpus. Okay, but the good ones are it looks like they are indexed in Corpus for a very long time. So you can check from Shimago, SCIMAGO, or you can also check from the Corpus website also. At those journal, look at when actually they start index in Corpus. So the one that is 10 years, 15 years index in Corpus are the one which is of high quality journal, right? But normally the high quality journals are the one who impose all quite high publication fee. So we take somewhere in between, just to make sure that we graduated enough for us just to publish into Corpus to meet the requirement of the graduation. All right.
Is it a requirement for UUM as well, Doctor, to publish in Scopus?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yes. UUM, during my time, I need to have 2 papers published, one in Referee Journal, the other one in Scopus Index Journal. During my time. But I have a colleague from University Malaya now. They have to publish 3.
University Malaya is much more tougher requirement.
They have to publish 3 in Scopus or any high index journal. 3. No Referee Journal, no nothing actually.
They want to keep up with their rankings, the good rankings. That
So,
leading.
It's a choice basically. So it is achievable. It is not impossible, but it's a challenge basically for the student. Right now, I have these 2 journals, JMIDS and also JLERI. These are Scopus Journal Q2 Quartal 2, right? So if any of the authors have papers that are related to management information or decision science or legal, ethical, regulatory, I can look into the papers. Our reviewer also look at the papers that have this, that can be published in any one of these 2 actually. So we think we can, then we will inform the author. Okay. Even Q2 right now is $990 US. That is the price. Expensive.
$990 US, almost like 4,000 ringgit Malaysia.
It's more. I see it's more than 4,000 at this rate now. Okay. So next one. This is a summary. Rule of thumb: proceeding within 1 month. Referee Journal within 3 months. Scopus normally within 3 to 6 months. Okay. So all papers must be submitted to us in Microsoft Word format and communication via email. So some participant provide email, but email is not valid. The email server is having problems, stuff like that. So normally we will ask them to provide us 2 emails, okay, as a backup. Right. So this is our upcoming conferences. This is what our conference is today. We do not have the physical conference in Putrajaya. Normally we have it in the Every Hotel in Putrajaya, but we do not have it, the physical one, because we do not have the number. Okay. We need minimum 7 to hold the physical conference. 7 confirmed participant, but I received only 2. So I did not proceed. So I advise the participant to change to virtual conference, like or submit the pre-recorded video presentation. Right. It depends on the time of the month, or probably like the one that we have 2 weeks ago. I almost have almost 20 participants, 20 presenters. So it's a challenge actually. But
in virtual mode as well, Doctor?
Sorry?
Is it in virtual mode as well?
Yeah, 20
okay.
In virtual.
Virtual mode.
Okay. So we have to have 2 breakout sessions so that we can finish on time. And then this month, at the end of this month, ICM RES 2022, we will have it in Langkawi. If I have 7 numbers who want to participate as face-to-face, I will physically conduct the conference in Langkawi. Otherwise, I will only conduct the virtual conference and receive the pre-recorded video presentation. But the registration for this particular conference looks promising. As of right now, I think I received more than 30 parties registration. I think about 10 has paid actually, early bird. And we have few. So all this actually has been published in the internet. I can actually share the URL to you, with you, so that probably some of your colleague or your student, or might need to attend or submit papers. They can actually go through this channel. Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I will email you. Okay, so that's about all for my so-called short welcoming address. So if you have any question, you can ask me now, or you can actually email me. No problem. I will respond as soon as I can.
Doctor, thank you very much for the opening remarks.
Yes, thank you very much to you for listening. Okay, so moving forward from our program, it's your time now to take over the floor. Okay.
Okay.
Cik Ahmad Hidayat representing Dr. Nur Hidayat Cik Ahmad.
Yes,
You
Doctor.
will discuss your paper entitled Perceptions and Readiness of Educators Toward Micro-Credential Certification Program. You're from UITM Pulau Pinang.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, please take over the. Okay, I will stop sharing mine. I will stop sharing mine. Okay. So you can start share yours.
So can you see the slides, Doctor?
Yes, very clear.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
Let me just click it to the slide presentation. Okay. Let me just change the setting here. Okay, thank you, Dr. Safai.
Yes.
For the welcoming remarks. Assalamualaikum. My name is Ahmad Hidayat bin Rizwan. And today I will be presenting on our study, which is on the perceptions and readiness of educators toward micro-credential certification program. So this research was conducted by a team of 3 researchers, led by Dr. Nur Hidayat, me, myself, and also Melinda Siti Asma Yusof from UITM Pulau Pinang campus branch. Right. Before we go further with the presentation, I would like to take this opportunity to acknowledge University Technology Mara, UITM Pulau Pinang campus branch, for supporting us through funding this project under the Internet Research Grant.
Good, thank you.
This for the basic research.
Okay.
Right. My presentation will be outlined accordingly. Yeah. First, I will explain, go on into the introduction of the study, and then purpose of the study, and then have some literature review to support the study, and then explain further on the methods, which will lead to findings and discussion, conclusion, limitations and recommendation, and finally we have the references that we have cited from other studies as well. Right. So as for introduction, now before we embark on the research, normally we will do some readings and to find out what are the trends, issues, and challenges as for this study, it is we did some research on the micro-credential area, and what we have found from the early researchers, which is Gallagher 2016 and Maxwell et al. 2017, they have indicated that higher learning education is moving towards a new era where a growing number of students and employees are looking for new types of credentials that match the knowledge and skills that employees require. Okay, and from other multiple studies as well, from ACRI 2016, Demont 2017, Rennell and West 2020, and White 2021, they have identified that many public and private institutions worldwide, such as in the United States, United Kingdom, and Australia, offer micro-credentials as upskilling and reskilling programs for their workforce, which includes teachers and also industry practitioners. And for instance, school teachers in Western countries, example given is in Australia and United States, they have registered for micro-credential certification programs as part of their training. Okay, and moving on again, in addition to that, Garcia et al. 2019 and Rudy and Pont 2019 indicate that there are higher education institutions that offer micro-credentials for their students. So the trend is enveloping the higher education currently. However, despite the emerging demands for micro-credentials at the future of higher education, there is a lack of micro-credential studies published. Because this is very new, it only started around in 2014 onwards. Okay, and this is was according to JR 2021 and Wilahan 2021. Okay. So speaking it, yeah. Yes, Dr. Shall I continue, Dr.?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So in Malaysia's contextual setting, the term micro-credential is relatively new for most Malaysians, even for us educators. So hence it is essential for us to know whether educators in Malaysia are aware of this certification program before they embark on this journey. Okay, so this will lead to the purpose of the study. The study aims to understand the perception and readiness of educators toward micro-credential certification program. Right.
Okay.
So as we move on to the literature review, we're going to have some studies that support our study. So but first of all, we have to give the definition on what micro-credential is all about. So according to Glover, according to Glover 2016, micro-credential focuses on bite-sized modules that allow learners to complete a set of modules within a shorter period and use the digital credentialing system to share their achievements with others, including potential employers. And since we are doing the study in Malaysia, we have taken also the definition by MQA, Malaysian Qualification Agencies, from 2019, from the guidelines that they have published. They define that micro-credential as much smaller modules of learning, which often allow learners to complete the required work over a shorter period. Right. Okay. And other literature reviews that are supporting our study from Syed Ahmad et al. 2021, they have stated that agreement across stakeholders, for example, learners, educators, universities, micro-credential providers, employers, adequate facilities and resources, and strong support from the institutions are crucial in ensuring micro-credentials can sustain long-term. Okay, and for another study by Acri 2016 and Garcia et al., they stated that the importance of instructional design and reliable online platform, including good infrastructures, are needed for micro-credentials. So as per Mishra et al. 2021, institutional preparedness is the key to online learning. As per Gautier 2020, he recommends higher education institutions to develop appropriate rules for issuing micro-credential certificates to uphold the validity of the credentials. Further study by Garcia et al. 2019 stated that educators and learners are confident that micro-credentials lead towards lifelong learning and increase the university's visibility as the micro-credential providers. From Gior and Lindstorm 2017 and Jones et al. 2017, they stated that learners generally had positive perceptions of the digital badges for professional learning opportunities in higher education. And finally, from Glover 2016, Rudy and Pont 2019, Woods and Woods 2021, White 2021, and Radal and West 2020, these researchers stated that several other researchers have been found examining digital badges and micro-credential from students' perspective, school teachers, and school leaders. So the literature review that I've provided here, they have provided here lingers around the study in areas of micro-credentials. Now, moving on to the methods. So we have employed a qualitative method to understand the educator's perspective in Malaysia, who are also micro-credential content developers. And their perspective matters because each plays a different set of roles and responsibilities which are vital to help achieve the research objective. So how do we decide on the sampling? We use the judgmental sampling method, whereby 25 lead educators who are also micro-credential developers at one public university in northern region of Malaysia were invited to participate in an open-ended online interview questionnaire. And this method was deemed appropriate since Malaysia is under the movement control order and the restriction order period in Malaysia.
These educators, go back. Yeah, these educators are the one who are developing the micro-credential program.
Yeah, they just have been to the seminar on developing the micro-credential because this is relatively new. So the university developing
the program and the curriculum.
using the whether to convert the existing one or developing a new one.
Right.
Because most of currently in the university we are more focusing on still developing online what do you call that platform learning using the MOOC, Malaysian Open Learning modules. Okay, now micro credentials, since micro credentials is a different part, because normally micro credentials in most developed countries they already have this kind of platform for their employees. And also at the same time they also allow public to go undergone for the micro credentials program as well, but they have to charge certain fees for that.
So the program is normally delivered online, right?
Yes, delivered online.
So they use
but they're gonna have modules, very short modules.
Right.
Once the participant or those who have undergone the modules, they're gonna get some kind of patches just to make sure they already completed certain topics.
And so the educators are normally attached to a local university or college.
So for this study, this is for the one the educators that are attached to the one of the university that we have did the study on.
I see.
Which is UiTM.
So this program, the micro credential program, who are the students? Who are the target students?
So the target for this micro credential program can be the university own student and university student, and also it can be offered to the public.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the target market actually.
So this micro credential program has been around.
It has been around in developed countries, but it's currently relatively very new in Malaysia. And but actually, the Ministry of Higher Education already put this as one of the agenda to pursue for all the universities.
So in Malaysia, it has not really started. It is starting, but has it officially started as a program provided to students and also probably employees of certain?
Oh, the one public university that we already know much more advanced in this micro credential program is USM. So they are the one leading in this area right now.
Okay, all right.
So other universities, that's why we are doing this study just to find out. Because in UiTM, we already identified we are just starting with this micro credential program.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So the interview questionnaire was developed using Google Form, and the link was distributed via social media groups for micro credential developers using Telegram and WhatsApp. Each participant has received a 30 ringgit gift card as a token of appreciation for their response. And the university's ethics committee has approved this study as well before we distributed the questionnaire. Because it is a requirement of all the university to make sure that the ethics committee needs approval from the ethics committee before we distribute the questionnaire.
Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
To it. The interview questionnaire. This interview, is it conducted online or you just provide the form to your respondent?
We just provide the form because later on we are doing content analysis on the response that we have received from the respondent. Okay. So if we want to, basically we decide to choose to go with this method because it is much more faster. And then normally when we want to do actual qualitative with probing questionnaire, it is better to have like a face-to-face interview so that we can have more in-depth information coming up from the respondent. So for this study, we decided to go with this method first.
Do you support that also with a face-to-face kind of interview?
Well, because face-to-face interview, it's much harder to administer. But I do agree. Interview face-to-face is much more preferable actually. But because of the respondents' time and this is some of the limitation as well, we have chosen this kind of
it could have been better if you take not all of them. 25 is quite a number what to do. Maybe select few from those 25. You can do online interview to clarify again what they have already responded from the Google form, and then you can throw also some ideas, because this is qualitative study. So qualitative is normally very subjective, you know. Respondent A may respond to your question similarly. In the Google form, they say this, they say that. Almost I say the same with the other respondent, but when you interview them face to face, actually they mean quite different, you know, from each other.
Yes.
But then you don't have these opportunities, okay? Maybe another opportunity for subsequent research, maybe to support that with the interview.
Yeah,
This
this is
like
as I mentioned, this is quite a basic research using the grant awarded. We are also planning for the wider research, which covers more respondent from different universities.
Okay. All right.
Okay, right. So using the transcription, we perform qualitative content analysis as per Bankson 2016 to search for the themes and patterns in the responses. According to Krippendorf 2004, content analysis is a research technique or procedure for making replicable and valid inferences from text or other meaningful matter to the context of their use.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, these are our findings. Table 1 lists out the demographic information. So we have equal respondent from both gender, male and female. In terms of their age, 50% of the respondents age below 40 and to 25, so 25 to 40. Most respondents in terms comes from the social science business cluster, social sciences cluster, which is business management, hotel and tourism, which is up to 75% of the respondent. And then most respondent, 67% of them are senior lecturers. And in terms of experience, 75% of them have more than 11 years of teaching experiences at the university. Okay. Now, moving on to the findings and discussion. 10 out of 12 developers have attended the university's micro-credential seminar that aim to create awareness and educate academicians about micro-credential. The respondents who are also the micro-credential developers were aware that micro-credential certification program is part of the university agenda and that the university is developing and offering a micro-credential certification program. Now, in the subsequent section, we'll present general statements about the major themes for each question, followed by some chosen quotes because they represented critical viewpoints from the respondent.
Okay, fair.
Right, so this is the first question. And the response from the respondent. The first question is, how do you describe a micro-credential program? And from this, we have categorized the response to 3 main themes that describe micro-credential certification programs, which is A, certified online short courses for working adults with flexible time learning time. B is skill-based short courses. And C, new teaching methods. So these are the 3 different response themes that we have managed to get from the respondent. So generally, the descriptions given by the respondent reflect the definition of micro-credentials by the Malaysian Qualification Agency as per the guidelines 2019. So to quote one of the respondent, respondent 12 described micro-credential certification program as a certification program that is developed in a small size module, designed based on industry needs, suitable for working people that does not have time to participate in a physical face-to-face class. So this answers for the first question, Doctor.
Okay.
Right. Now the next question is, what skills and resources are needed by educators to develop micro-credential courses? Now the response that we have received have divided into 4 main themes that describe the skills and resources needed by educators when developing micro-credential courses. First one, which is this digital skills. Second one is knowledge on the subject matter. Third is knowledge in developing a micro-credential module. And lastly is English communication skill. And 83.3% respondents mentioned digital skills or skills related to information technology. And these findings align with study by Mishra et al. 2021, where teaching and learning technology and educators' capability were among the issues highlighted for online learning. And to quote respondent 5, answers that expertise is in subject matter, good command in English, and good command of software needed to create teaching video, which is answer the second question.
Subject matter, okay, go on. I want to ask about when you say they want to be expert in subject matter. So what kind of subject normally fall under the micro-credential program?
So normally we would try to take a chunk of a small chunk of the current curriculum, and try to divide it into smaller modules. So because the micro-credential developer has already been teaching, as a based on the demographic data just now, they have some kind of teaching experience. I think more than 10 years. So they already have the ability on the knowledge and skill on the what do you call that, the content, on how to develop the content, because they have been teaching it all this while. So we just want to take a small chunk of it and divide it into smaller modules, and try to target it to our students who wants to learn more, also for the publics who wants to learn as well, and at the same time getting the recognition or certification from a university.
All right, and the medium of instruction is in English. The software is also written in English, right?
Yes. But we're still deciding whether we want to have a dual course module.
They are still deciding. They have not confirmed.
Yeah, but we have to target a wider market. We need to make them to produce them in English.
Yeah.
Because this is not only for, we can always market it for international student or public as well, for those who are interested to learn and get credentials from the program that the university have created and or developed.
Okay, all right.
Okay, right, Doctor. And the last question, what are the challenges faced by educators in developing micro-credential modules? So the main challenges educators face are lack of digital skill and knowledge in developing a micro-credential module, and limited resources. For example, time, incentive, and guidance. Because as we have found out earlier, this is relatively new. So a lot of need to be done just to make sure we can address these challenges. And from respondent 6, lack of knowledge and skills in technical, developing micro-credential module and IT. So not all of the educators are well versed with IT. Maybe they are well versed in their area of teaching or subject matter. I've been a subject matter expert, but not IT. So this has been one of the challenges. And the recognition is also one of the challenges given to these developers should be equivalent to the time and effort contributed. So respondents mentioned challenges in getting proper recognition in their yearly performance evaluation, because developing a micro-credential module really takes a lot of time to just to create one modules. So since the educators also not really well versed with IT skills, so this has become much more challenging. And as per respondent 4, small point allocated in my ATP, which is the yearly appraisal system in the university, does not reflect the actual time that the developer or the educator spends on developing the course module.
I think I agree with respondent 4 and also respondent 6, especially respondent 4. From my own experience, actually, when you do publishing or publication of your papers in journal and so on. Similarly, here in this case, these are the people. These are lecturers in universities, higher learning institutions. Yeah? They have their so-called tugasan hakiki, or their core deliverable that is given, without having to mention anything. But they also need to be given, to be recognized for those effort that they want to do, develop this, micro-credential program and so on, because it takes a lot of time and effort.
Yes, exactly.
So it's very important. if we don't, not you, but we don't provide a right recognition, I think this program will be just like some other program that we know very well. I don't.
Or just for the sake of doing it, doctor, I think maybe just for the
Yeah,
sake of
they
doing it,
become
not
for the
doing
sake of doing it, and then it's going nowhere, and it's actually just a waste of money, time, effort, and so on. Trust me, it has to be recognized. It has to be given the incentive, that you can translate that in probably dollar and cents, or getting a special skill promotion, stuff like that. It's very important, because
very
these are
important.
the motivational effort. If the institution does not support this, like small point only allocated in my ATP, for instance, this is a a slap in the face, really. It's not a slap on the wrist, but the slap on the face. If you give only small point, how do we attract people actually to get excited or motivated to do this? So the institution itself actually must be involved, must become the program sponsor actually.
To involve to invest in training program, like
Yes.
for the educators to learn IT, it will take a lot of time as well for them.
Yes, exactly.
And then they also have other what do you call that, tasks, which is more important, which is teaching. So, right. And then, as mentioned just now, there's a small the recognition is not there, or maybe just a little small unseen recognition for the
just a token of appreciation. I think that is I tell you, the program will not go anywhere, if this is the kind of response or recognition given by the institution. So the institution itself has to play a greater role. That's what I'm saying.
So that's why earlier, doctor, I asked you whether you have the expertise, because I think moving forward we need to collaborate with somebody who are expert from outside the institution, so that we can develop on this module faster, maybe.
Yeah, I gained this experience from my background as a 25 years experience in a private sector. We have IT project, multi-million project, 50 million, 70 million, 10 million kind of project, but the players or the project team involve people who work in the bank. In this case, when I was doing the job in the bank, they also have their core tasks that they have to complete day in, day out, and they have also to be involved in the project. And if they don't get the proper recognition and they don't get incentive joining the project and contributing to the project is going very, very slowly. It's taking more time, spending more money for that. And some of this project really actually fail. And we have already spent 10 million for it for 3 years, 20 million for it for 2 years. Because of this issue, getting proper recognition, getting the incentive. So people are not motivated. The key thing is people must be motivated to do that. So from my experience, I'm very stressful about this matter. I'm very, very concerned about this matter, because when we get the software in, when we get the program in, we have to pay.
Yep.
We pay the money, but we are not able to implement that successfully normally because of this issue. This is the main issue to me, like technical issue, lack of skill and knowledge. That is, I call it hard skill. You can learn, you can go to training, and you can actually obtain the skill through training, and then you apply in your workplace. But recognition and incentive is something else. It's something that involves a bigger involvement from the institution. So that's my point. Basically, I agree with this respondent, Very, very much. Okay, go on.
All right. Now, we already reached the conclusion, doctor?
Okay.
Now, the current study aims to understand the perspective of educators who are also micro-credential developers. And based on the results, several important themes answer how these educators define micro-credential certification programs. Generally, the respondents understood the micro-credential concept and were aware of the micro-credential initiative by university. For the findings reveal that the description of micro-credentials provided by respondents is parallel to the definition provided by the Malaysian qualification agencies, because it already been made known to the top management of all the universities about the development of micro-credential program. Micro-credential is an online certification course offered in bite-sized modules, focused on specific skills, where the learners can complete the modules within a short-term period, as compared to going for a longer term diploma or degree program.
Okay.
Right. These are the limitations and recommendations from our study. First of all, is the study sample educators from one public university only in Pulau Pinang, hence the findings could not be generalized to other universities. And also for future recommendation, further studies involving educators from different universities could be beneficial, as I mentioned to you, Doctor. Maybe we can we have to apply for much larger amount of grant for that purpose.
Yeah, you can do a mixed method here. In this case, like you do questionnaire, very much like a quantitative method, but you can mix that also with qualitative by having these interviews, because I think there are certain subjective matters that probably the respondent are more open when we conduct that face-to-face. Some of their opinion or their thoughts and so on are not able to be reflected in the questionnaire because it's not available in the question. The question does not ask that kind of expectation from them. So mixed method is another future recommendation that you can do. But of course, that makes the research more challenging and then more time consuming and so on. At the same time, we also have time constraint, budget constraint.
But I believe that the findings will be much more valuable if you can
exactly.
do that.
But this is a good research, a good foundation which you can expand further if you have the time, if you have the budget. Maybe you find another grant to work further on this research, to give more, more reflective about the situation, whether it is really worthwhile, or it is just like you say, it's for the sake of doing it. And then
actually, Dr. Hidayah is the one who are leading the micro-credential effort in UiTM currently.
Yes.
So that's why she started with all this research, and we are also moving to doing a study where we target students and industries players as well, just to find out about their perception and readiness on the micro-credential as well.
I think the best is actually maybe this study is looking at the data from the educators. Okay, perhaps the next one that you can do from the potential student, from the student, university student, and also from the employees from certain organization, whether micro-credential is something that they look forward to have or not. And so this can weigh actually, if this program can really be commercialized and expanded to student outside of the university or higher learning institution, then this program can become popular. And then once the program is popular, basically it brings benefit to the educators, to the university itself, and also to the
country.
Yeah, it should be.
Because a lot of people we're gonna have access to education, which is much more, which will be low cost.
But when you mention about short term, what kind of short term you're looking at? A 3 months time frame, 6 month time frame to get the certification?
Yes, it got actually for minimum of 3 months, or maybe less than that, depending on how fast they can finish the module.
I see. Okay, all right. Okay.
And
So
this that's all for the presentation today, Doctor. These are all the references from the study.
Thank you. But yeah, okay. If you can improve the paper, you can if you want to. But if you don't want, it's okay. But I'm suggesting perhaps this discussion actually can open up for more papers to be
Mhm.
developed and published actually, but you need to get the data and so on. Like I said just now, maybe a mixed method, and another one is getting the data from the potential students of this program, whether
Okay.
it is going to be beneficial or not. So when this paper going to be published, I hope somebody pick up and take cue from there, you know, and make it, because we know as a academic people, okay, our responsibility is not only teaching, we are also supposed to do many other things. We you know, like university lecturer become a director of this particular unit, of this particular program, you know, they have to be involved in many other areas beside teaching.
Yes.
They also are becoming like motivators themselves, and then to get them motivated, they have to be multi, I would say multi exposed in many areas, not just teaching, you know, not just teaching basically. And another area is academic staff are supposed to write research papers.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
you
one
have
of
to
the
come up
main
your research
KPI.
paper. That is the main thing. Okay, our requirement, our expertise is very much sought to do research. So, and you and I know that many researchers, many papers actually end up just in the journal database.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, not commercialized, not being practical. You know, sometimes research oh nice, but then it's not
Somebody's
practical.
picking up and reading it and
Yeah,
taking, doing
yeah.
something from it.
But that is expected. That is okay because it is knowledge. Yeah. But I hope maybe you also hope that some of this can be commercialized. Some of the ideas churned out from the research can be commercialized, you know, for the betterment of the community and the society at large. That's the main purpose actually.
Yes.
Yeah. So I hope this
Exactly.
micro credential will become a success.
I
Okay,
get that.
will become a success. I hope Dr. Nur Hidayah will continue to be motivated to pursue this program to be successful in UiTM Pulau Pinang. Yeah?
We're trying to address the challenges that we have, that I have explained earlier. So once we manage to address that, I think it should be a smooth journey for the micro-credential development.
I hope so. I hope this is a success, so that maybe like USM is doing it quite extensively now. Maybe have you discussed anything with USM, or have you made any?
Yes. Actually, we already contacted Prof. What do you call it? I'm not sure. I can't remember the prof's name. So he's the one who's guiding us in UiTM in terms of developing the micro-credential program.
Okay, so maybe
But
by now
still,
you should be able to tell, like in USM probably they are in the forefront because they can make the program attractive and they can get the educators to be involved. So maybe you need to find what are those factors that contribute to this, you know, to find the program to be so-called quite successful also in USM to begin with. So we can apply the same model to UiTM. Yeah. So good that
exactly.
we have made the effort to meet them, to discuss with them, and then maybe can get them on board, basically to advise the project.
But still, Doctor, we still need, we are still lacking in terms of the technical skill, the hard skills. So we're still working on that. Yeah.
Send them to training and then make sure you have an environment back in office that they can apply the skill. You know, that is most important. Sometimes we go to training, we don't have the environment to apply what we know from the training. Then we forgetful. We don't remember what we learned. We cannot apply what we learn, but we must have that environment in our office, in our workplace, so that we can apply the new skill, the new you know, capabilities and so on in the workplace.
At the
So I
same
hope,
time, need to juggle with the quotas as well.
of course, we are all multi-talented.
Multitasking.
We have to do multiple things at one time. So that's the challenge actually. We just have to find the time and we have to make it make it successful anyway. Okay.
Agree, Doctor.
Okay. All right. So do you have any other question?
I think that covers all for my presentation, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you
I'm
very much.
actually, for me, I'm really interested to find out if you know, for future collaboration, because you are coming from the industry, but also at the same time you become an educator. Maybe I'm from a business administration background, so I was thinking of, you know, having some kind of doing some kind of action research. You know, like what you mentioned about the what happened to the project in bank last time, where it never really achieved the target that is wanted by the bank, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we can just identify all these kind of issues, you know, and identify what's really the issue behind it, so we can address. For me, if I can get that kind of information, I can address back to the top management. So this what happened to company A, you know, and we should try to avoid this if the top management is not doesn't want the like example the micro credential program to clear.
Just offhand, I ask you, is UiTM so-called management supportive of this one, of this program?
They're very supportive. That they're making it the university agenda, but however, I think in terms of allocating more time to give the staff on training, maybe it's a bit slow in terms of the progress. So because if you want to do, I think because as what we have as what I have presented in the study just now, they're lacking in the educators are lacking in terms of IT skills, which is very important in developing the micro credential program. So it's going to be a bit slow, and educators also need to spend more time for training, maybe self-training for them to learn on how to develop. So that is the challenges currently that we are facing.
Yeah, I know, understand. It's quite tough. It's quite tough, but once you get the hang of it, I think it's a smooth sailing. But who actually provide the training? The system provider, or?
But they have this one unit in UiTM. I want to call that ICEPS. It's under the continuous education program for UiTM. So they have all these technical people to give the training. But currently, you only have about like 2 times. The training that have been conducted for this micro credential is only 2 times. So I don't think it's enough. I think maybe we need more on.
That's right.
Especially on the technical part. As the 2 times does cover about the explanation of the university agenda, and also identifying what are the courses that we want to develop. But the technical side is we're still lacking of that in terms of the hard skill. Yeah.
Besides Dr. Nur Hidayah, who is practically the one who is actually responsible to carry this project forward, who is higher up than Dr. Nur Hidayah, who is supporting the project, specifically supporting the project? Any name or any?
I mean, all directors is supporting this agenda. But however, like I said, that's this unit where we call the Institute for Continuous Education. They are the one who have all these technical people who are very good in IT, in developing all the stuff. So basically, that kind of training has not yet reached these educators. So for the moment, the educators still have to self-learning and use certain kind of platform provided. So they don't really have go like intensive training on the technical side. So that is what I think the most important, because the knowledge is already there with the educators. They just need the technical IT skills on how to put everything together.
Yeah. How about the recognition? Do you think in UiTM, Penang?
The recognition. I mean, because this is something new, so we have yet to see that, because the educators is just about to come up with is currently developing the module. I mean the micro credential program.
Because
once it's and submitted, maybe we can have, maybe we will see some kind of recognition from the top of this mic.
But normally under project, the implementation of this initiative type of thing, normally we need somebody higher up there to be the sponsor of the program. Okay, so when there is a sponsor, then there's a people with a higher credential, higher designation. So the ownership ada. When the ownership is there, they feel responsible. When they feel responsible, they can actually push the people to get more involved, push the people to deliver on time, because it's like running a project. You have deadline to meet, you know, you have deliverable to provide and so on. So if we don't have somebody higher up there to support, just support from the management standpoint, then project nanti dia struggling. Okay, and then to get the recognition, maybe the higher people can actually leverage. You can leverage with the availability of these higher people in this particular initiative to get that recognition in place again. And then that is very important in any project, whatever it is. I call this project basically because it involves many people, and then you have timeline. You must have timeline, definitely, kan? Bila you want to start this particular program, when do you want to introduce to student, when do you want to introduce to public, you know, what do you expect out of that one? Maybe when you start commercializing this particular program, what kind of fee structure you want to impose and so on. So this must be in place.
Basically, the support is there, Doctor.
It's very good. Kalau support is good, kalau ada, it's very good. Then the structure is there. I hope that the progress can be smooth without much issues. Of course, there will be problem here and there, but those problems I anticipate is something that is easy to resolve and resolvable. It's not very difficult, but it is resolvable. But again, the challenge is because all of us are doing this part-times. Yeah, you are doing this part-time, you have other things to do also. So it's all about time management.
Exactly.
All of it actually. So if you can manage the time effectively, I think the project will go successfully.
Successfully, yes, exactly.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation and sharing the idea with me. Interesting. I think this is also an interesting subject. Unfortunately, cuma kita berdua. I wish we have many other attendees who can actually, passing the ball back and forth, changing the ideas and so on. So, but that is okay. It's a good experience to me. First time.
It is also a good experience to me as well. So hopefully we can send more papers to your conference in future.
Thank you very much. I will share with you the URL of our future conferences later in the email. Okay.
Okay.
So thank you very much with that. So I wish you all the best. So when are you graduating, or you want to graduate or anything?
Oh, not really. I'm just getting started on the proposal for PJIC.
All right.
Maybe I can get some points from you as well later on.
Sure, you can. You email me, and then I will try to reply as soon as possible. Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Same to you, Doctor.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you.